This is a project, this is about the significance of plants to humanity in the 21st century. Why is that different to a 19th century version? And I think it's because we've all become aware that we need to use our land very, very cleverly. Within this piece of land, what we wanted to demonstrate was, yes, we want people to come here and enjoy it. It's recreational, they can take great shaded walks through beautiful gardens and go to a big concert. At the same time, we wanted to make sure that we could manage the water sustainably and sensibly. We wanted to have structures in there that were actually reinforcing the environmental story. We wanted a layer in there that was sort of about educational, so it could tell stories about the cultural significance of plants, the significance of rainforest plants.
Typically, an architect is working for people, and you kind of start to usurp your thoughts on how people will use the building and want to use the building. And I think our team definitively said, or maybe Andrew's, it's all about the plants, because it is all about the plants. Yes, the people are going to enjoy it and all the rest of it, but they're only going to enjoy it if the plants are healthy and happy.
And the client for the project is the National Parks Board of Singapore, and I think probably around about 2000 they started looking at this site, because there's actually three pieces. There's the main Bay South area, which is 54 hectares, there's the Bay East, which is another 34 hectares, and Bay Central, which is another 17 hectares, so about 100 hectares altogether, being given over to green space.
But what I do absolutely remember is that whole story about bringing these foreign plants in and finding a way in which they could live in a mutually beneficial way. There was a really nice discussion about the idea that it's a happy combination between the foreign plants and the living plants, the natural plants. And again, Andrew, it's partly your story, but there were some great diagrams at the beginning about how we get a symbiotic relationship between the two. Like all the plants that grow on trees in Singapore, they don't hurt the tree that they grow on, but they're there. And the idea, I think there are nice analogies between culture and the massive diversity of the culture in Singapore.
I'm right at the competition stage. One of the fundamental things I wanted to do was explore like a project ecosystem. What are the relationships between some of the different elements, and particularly to find all sorts of ways, relationships between the buildings, and particularly the cool conservatories and the gardens, so that whenever we talked about them, it was one project, it was one system. One of the building blocks, very important building block, was this idea of ethnobotany. Let's actually understand the relationship between plants and cultural life of Singapore. The Indian, Chinese, Malay, the Western sort of cultures, and every one of those had its own little narratives and stories. What we started to sort of really explore parallel to that, to sort of counterbalance that, was the idea of the rainforest, the Southeast Asian rainforest, and the significance of that in terms of biodiversity. This is the flower dome, the cool dry conservatory with a collection of Mediterranean plants. This is the cloud forest dome, which is effectively a tropical montane cloud forest exhibit. These are the heritage gardens, so you've got Indian, Chinese, Malay and Western, colonial. These are the World of Plants gardens, so you've got Secret Life of Trees, World of Palms, Understory, Fruits and Flowers, Web of Life and Discovery. In the middle, which is the main cluster of 12 super trees, this is the Super Tree Grove, which is a sort of a hidden magical world. The meadow down here, which is basically a flexible open space for concerts and just a nice breathing space for people to enjoy. The gardens are actually entirely surrounded by water, and you cross water to get into the gardens.